Chef de l'opposition officielle.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We've heard a lot of conflicting information today and seen some contrasts that I'd like to point out to try and get at clarity at what direction this government is taking. We had the minister describe an extensive consultation process for the housing strategy that was clear and visible and took many, many months and engaged lots of people, including members of this team. At the same time as we have a Minister of Education describing a consultation process that wasn't clear, took a matter of weeks, none of us were able to participate, and the output was incomplete, to be generous. So I wonder if the Premier could describe what is his approach to consulting the public and New Brunswickers on important pieces of legislation.
The Honourable the Premier.
Mr. Speaker, I love these little at the end summaries, you know, of what the Leader of the Opposition thinks she's heard and what she thinks she believes in and what she thinks she knows. So, Mr. Speaker, what we do know is Bill 46 has been in front of this House since early May. And what we do know is the last several weeks have been spent just in talking about it, but not talking to learn about it. And, Mr. Speaker, there have been no real questions except for delays. There's been all kinds of posturing here in the House and endless dialogue, Mr. Speaker, and endless accusations from the opposition in every direction, Mr. Speaker, and all kinds of criticism. But the last thing that they want to really learn about is the actual bill itself. And we saw the questions that the minister talks about in energy. We saw the same thing in health, repeated. So, Mr. Speaker, there's no willingness to learn. There's no willingness to do politics differently. The only willingness is to continue to stay here and make a mockery of the legislative system, which we're trying to improve. So that's what the goal is over there, Mr. Speaker. That's not doing politics differently. That's just reinforcing the same old Liberal process.
Thank you. Chef de l'opposition officielle.
I'm going to start off my last question with a few positives, and a positive for the Premier. I appreciate very much that he committed to share the Coalition for Pay Equity report and to make that transparent to the public, so thank you for that. I also appreciate the Minister of Environment's response to the member on the other side to share that information as well. That's constructive and it's helpful. Now I'm going to change tacks. Mr. Premier, you stated yesterday, I can't walk away from a situation that we left in chaos. Chaos is right. Your shock and awe approach of blowing things up without a plan, of strong-arming your opponents to get them into a weak position, is creating chaos in education, in health, in local government, and in this assembly. Everyone is showing you the door, and yet you insist on hitting the wall. There's been some interesting musical quotes this morning, so I'm going to quote Dr. Taylor Swift, who says, "You know it's time to go." Will the Premier take responsibility and acknowledge he's the cause of the chaos?
The Honourable Premier. Order.
So, Mr. Speaker, I appreciate the calm demeanour and tone that the Leader of the Opposition has now put forward in a very respectful and appropriate way. But, Mr. Speaker, there are hundreds of thousands of parents out there that want to be involved with their kids. And we have learned that not only in New Brunswick, Mr. Speaker, but right across this country. And when you find an area, Mr. Speaker, where parents need to know what's happening with their kids, and the support is overwhelming, Mr. Speaker, am I prepared to go the distance on that topic? Yes, I am, Mr. Speaker, because I'm prepared every day to take the stand for parents. And I think it's important to the very foundation of our society. So, Mr. Speaker, the Liberals can continue to volley these issues and try to make more chaos, Mr. Speaker, because that's what we're seeing. Not politics differently, not willing to discuss real issues, Mr. Speaker, but to play the games that have always been played by the Liberal opposition and certainly the Greens as well. So, Mr. Speaker, am I prepared to walk away from that? No, Mr. Speaker, I'm not.